Friends, good morning again and welcome to a webinar on career guidance. On behalf of the Bombay YMCA, I would like to welcome you all for this program. Uh, as you all know, YMCA is one of the oldest organization in the city and also worldwide. We are celebrating 176th year this time. Okay, we are majorly into youth development programs, and we are there in the community of Mumbai from last 146 years, helping the needy in the various fields and the needs. Uh, this time, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our president, Mr. Jason Samuel, who is in our midst, and also Mr. Michael Raj. He's the chairman of the student branch. We've been doing this program through the student branch of the Bombay YMCA, as you all aware. Mr. Paul George, General Secretary, is yet to join us, but he will join us in between. So whenever he joins us, I will like to acknowledge his presence. At the same time, I will also like to acknowledge the presence of our board member, Mr. Sharad Kanga here. Thank you for all joining us, sir. Friends, this is my privilege to introduce to our resource person for today's morning, Mr. Alvito Fernandez. Mr. Fernandez is, as you all aware, which we had mentioned to you, is a director of AVF, company AVF, which is running a very prestigious brand study and work abroad, as you are. And I didn't want to make it very informal. But friends, this is the time I would like to know a little more about Mr. Alvito Fernandez. He is a fantastic basketball player, okay, and he's also coached in his early days the national and the state level programs of basketball coaching. At the same time, he has coached the national level teams of the basketball. After finishing his master's in business, he has started his venture of AVF, and he's been a fantastic career-oriented person. His journey as a counselor started, as a consultant. He is into counseling students for study abroad, especially in the countries like UK, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. He's been consulting students, advising them for building career overseas. And important thing is for us is like he's also serves on the Bombay YMCA board. He's also chairing a couple of our committee meetings, especially the Borivali YMCA. Please visit there, and also our social media committees. Moreover, on my personal side, he always tells to me that he is a student at heart, and that's how he keeps learning things. And on my personal experience, I should say one thing: every time I had spoken to Alvito, I had learned something new or I had learned something different. Okay, and that's experience we would like to share with you for today morning with you. And I don't want to take much time and don't want to tell what all I had learned, but I'm sure you will be able to know this during this course of time. During the course of the program, we will also like to enlighten you about the Bombay YMCA in its work. So that is during the course of program, we will do that for you. Meantime, I would like to once again welcome you all, and there are few us more joining us, and I'm sure this program going to be enriching to you. And over to Mr. Alvito Fernandez to take over.
Okay, thank you, Robin. That was a very lofty introduction. I hope I can keep up to those lofty levels of the introduction. All right, guys, my name is Alvito Fernandez. Like Robin said, I am a student at heart. I'm no more a student, but I counsel students to send them overseas. But today's webinar is more about generally about talking about careers. I want to relate to the students. If there are parents, I hope you have your kids with you and they are listening in. The content on the slides, I have a presentation to make. It's very short, but I'll be talking a lot. I want to make this an interactive session. right? So we are going to give you an opportunity to do a question and answer with me right at the end. But if you have something to ask right in between, when I'm talking or when you see my slides, feel free to put a question in the chat box. I will pull it out of there and I will try to answer that. And like I said, I like to make this an interactive webinar. I don't like a one-way communication. When I'm counseling students, I want to hear them so that I can advise them in the right manner, right? So this is what we're going to do here too. And we're also going to have a little fun. So there's going to be some polls that you will get to participate in, right? And we'll take it as it goes. If you, like I said, if you have questions, keep them for the end. If you have something to ask me about a particular thing in between, please feel free to look up the chat box and put it in the chat box, and I will look it up there and answer you. Right? Okay. I hope everybody can hear me and we can get started. Okay. So before I start, I'm going to launch one poll, and you guys have to. I hope you poll before on a Zoom platform. You can just touch, if you're on your phone, touch your screen or click it on your laptop, and click the best answer you think is good for you. The topic of this webinar is Kickstart Your Career. I'm going to be talking about figuring out how to choose your career. What do you do to boost your career? How do you go about looking for your dream job? How do you go about preparing for your dream interview, right? And then making yourself more employable. That's what I'm going to be talking about mainly today. I'll very briefly touch about the aspect of studying abroad, and then Robin will talk about the Bombay YMCA before we get into the Q&A. So that's the flow of the webinar. Before I start, I'm going to launch one poll because I want to get to know a little bit about yourselves while I go about talking in this webinar. So this is the first poll. Is it on your screen? Robin, can you just say yes?
Screen.
Yes, okay. So what is or what will be the most critical aspect of your career? I want students who are there here to answer that. Working professionals, if you're on, click that. All right. I want to know how do you guys think about your careers, so that then I can structure my talk accordingly. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. Everything is a right answer. Okay. It's just about how you perceive yourself and how you are able to then mold yourself into what you want to do. So what will be the most critical aspect of your career? Do you like what is it important that you like what you do for your career? Is the money important? Are you able to touch lives positively? Being happy and satisfied, that's important. Do you want to reach the top of your field? I want to know your answers. Just another 10 seconds. Most of you have already polled. Okay, I'm going to end the polling and I'll share the results. Okay, and you can see for yourself. So there's a tie between stay happy and satisfied and reach the top of my field. Yes, that's very important because that's showing your ambition. I'm shocked to see money that I earn. Doesn't nobody want to earn good money while you work? I think money is important. Yeah, but money will flow if you're able to do what you like to do. If you're able to reach the top of your field, and if you're happy doing what you do, the money will flow. Yeah, like what you do is very important. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'll get into my presentation now. I hope you all can see my screen.
Screen.
Okay, can you see the screen? It says choosing your career. Robin, can you say a yes to me?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to talk just from my heart. I don't have a script or anything ready. When I talk to students, I talk directly from the heart, and I like students to then open up to me so that we are able to advise them correctly. So my first point to you is about choosing your career and how do you choose a career that you want to get into. There are various ways of choosing careers, right? There are career counseling. There are all of these psychometric tests that you can do. I know schools and colleges run a lot of those to make students understand what they want to study, or what they want to study, so that they can get into that particular career, or what is their orientation towards. Are they going to be engineers? Are they going to be IT professionals? Are they going to be finance professionals? Are they good at marketing? Are they good at sales? What operations? Whatever it is. Okay. Now, when I ask a student, what is your passion? The most common question answers I get from boys is football and cricket, and from the girls I get fashion design and beauty and makeup. Okay, now those are careers. Those are definitely careers. But you have to be, if you're saying football and cricket, you have to know very clearly what is your career part in football. What is it that you want to do in cricket? If the girls are saying fashion management, you have to know what is the career in fashion, right? It's not about just as a kid, okay, you love playing football, you love playing cricket. When I was a kid, like Robin said, I got into basketball. I loved playing basketball. I would spend 8 hours a day on the basketball court, and I wanted to do basketball as my career. But how realistic is it? You have to be able to understand that. Okay, how you are the best person to decide your career path. Okay, I know there'll be counselors, there'll be people telling you this and telling you that. You're not. You are the right person to be discerning your path. I get a lot of students telling me, so I got into engineering because my parents told me to get into engineering, but I have no interest in engineering. And in a 4-year engineering degree, they end up taking 6 years to complete that degree just because they couldn't do it. You have to start understanding right very early in your career, in your academic career, what you want to get into. If parents are listening to me, please have this spoken to your parent, to your kids. You have to have your kids start understanding their orientation towards where they're heading towards. How do you do this? I'm going to come in the next slide, but it's important if your kids are at their mid-teens, late teens, early 20s are able to know what they want to do. Unfortunately, our education system doesn't allow us to pick careers. It's very generic, our education system, but that's where parents, you as in your role, and kids, just understanding what you want to do. You have to be able to, you are the best person to decide what you want to do in your life. Okay, like I said, discern your career path early, but at the same time, don't worry about changing your field, because if you're going to be able to develop new skills, so let's say you got into engineering because your parents told you to get into engineering, but you actually are a very good marketing person. Okay, there's nothing wrong in getting into marketing and leaving engineering just because you develop the skill of being able to be a good marketing person. Or you are good with numbers and you want to get into the finance field. Get into the finance field. Okay, it's good for you to change early rather than change late, because between the ages of 20, let's say you graduate at 21, 22, between the ages of 22 to 25, you're changing fields. It's employees are happy to see you do that, as long as you're able to prove to employers that, yeah, you are changing your field because you are really good at it, you're passionate about it. Let's say you get into finance, you're good at numbers, you're good with your mathematics, you're good with your statistics. Or if somebody couldn't afford to get into engineering, he did not pass the JEE entrance exams, or he couldn't get into a good college or a university. He now wants but he's good at development. Now there's mobile development, app development, etc. And you're good and passionate about it, and you think you can develop, you can write code, you can get into AI and ML. I mean, do that, right? As long as if you're able to develop new skills, don't worry about changing your field of your career field, because what you ultimately want to be doing is what you like to be doing, like you said, and what makes you happy and what makes you satisfied. And that way the money flows to you automatically. What is very important is my third point: define your career goals at different ages of your life. Okay, I always ask students who are starting off, fresh students. I know I have a lot of fresher students in college and just getting out of college, or even if you're a working professional at the age of 30 or 35. When a student is not able to tell me what do they want to do in life, my first question is, where do you see yourself at the age of 25? Where do you see yourself at the age of 30? Where do you see yourself at the age of 35, 40, 45? Can you envision that? You have to start thinking about it. Students, you have to put it in your head of trying to think about how you will be at the age of 25. Okay, how will you be at the age of 30? Now I get some answers. At the age of 35, I want to be driving a Jaguar. At the age of 45, I want to be owning my own private jet. Okay, those are good answers. You have to know how do you get there. What is it that is going to take you to owning a Jaguar at the age of 35? What is going to be? It's going to be for you to own an airplane at the age of 45. You have to know your career path. So those are not the answers. Those are the answers. Those are ambitions. It's very good for you to be able to think that way. However, you have to know, I want to be doing this. This is my career path. This is my career goal, and this is what I want to be doing. So let's say you're an engineer or an IT engineer. You by the age of 25, 27, you have to know, okay, coding is my core area. If you're a finance guy, if you want to get into investment banking, core banking, you want to be knowing, okay, this is what I want to do. These are the companies that I want to be working with at this level in the company. I just saw an answer there. I want to be an art director at 45. Yeah. So that's that. If you're able to see that, rest assured you're going to get to that. But define your career goals at different ages, and then review your career goals. Okay. Once you're at the age of 30, you can think, okay, when I was 23, I said I want to be at this at the age of 30. Am I already at this? If not, what do I do? What do I have to do to get to that level? If you are already there, then become more ambitious. Okay, now you say at 35, I'm going to be 3 times more, that much more, right? So that's what I mean by define your career goals at different ages. Yeah. Okay. Now you will notice that I'm not going to be talking about specific careers and individual counselings. If you want to get counseled individually, you'll have to connect to me separately. We'll talk about that at the end of the presentation. I'm generally talking about how students think, and I want to be able to communicate to students and parents how students should be able to think, right? Okay. So let's just to know that you guys are all listening. I'm going to launch the second poll. Feel free to put questions in the chat box. I feel kind of lonely when I'm talking all by myself. So please feel free to put questions in the chat box. If you feel like you cannot type a long question, you want to unmute yourself, please unmute, but do not make a nuisance of it. Okay, here comes the second poll.
It's on the screen.
So can you see that? What is the most important factor in your ideal job? Is it the company reputation? Is it the work that you do? Is it your salary? Is it the people you work with, which is very important, the teams you work with? Or is it your work-life balance? And work-life balance is not just for girls, okay? It's not just for the female people on this call. It is for everybody, because work-life balance, even for males, are very important. Okay, we have 73 people on the call, and yeah, I've had about 40, 50 responses. Okay, there's no right or wrong response, okay? If it's salary, it is salary. It's important. Okay, just 5 seconds more, and then I will. Okay, I'll end the polling. I'll share the results. Like I said, there's no right or wrong, but work-life balance, here are the results. Work-life balance trumps everything else. People you work with is important. Of course, you cannot decide whom you work with before you apply for a job, unless you're getting into senior levels of the company. You already know the teams, who's there and stuff, but that comes at a much later date. But once you're early in your career, you can't really decide that. Salary is important, but salary is a function of how good you are. It's as simple as that. If you're good, you're going to get paid more. If you're mediocre, you're going to get paid a mediocre salary. If you're not all that great, you have to start and you have to get to somewhere. Yeah, company's reputation is good. It's a function of also we have this thing of Do you want to be big in a small company, or do you want to be small in a big company? It's a debate that will never that humanity will never answer. It's like which came first, the chicken or the egg. But it's all about your individual aspiration and how do you identify with the industry. And of course, what work you do, because you have to be passionate about what you're doing, and you don't want to be getting into the wrong job, right? Okay, I'll stop sharing that now and get back to my slide. Okay, so now that you've decided what is your career path, you've kind of gotten to understand this is what I want to do. This you kind of define this is where you want to be at the age of 30. This is where you want to be at the age of 35. This is where you want to be at the age of 40. How do you go about getting to those levels? Okay. I'm just going to talk about general things. Some of you would have heard these things. Some of you wouldn't have not. If you've not, this is very important. Upgrade. Okay. If you know where you are getting into, where you want to get into. So I'll give you examples. The information age, the technology age is, they say doubles the rate of technology is doubling at the rate of 80 at once. It is doubling at the rate of 18 months. Okay, they estimate that to come down to 14 months by 2025, which means you are going to be having to double your skills and your if you're into technology, you're going to have to be upgrading 14 months. Every 14 months, you're going to be having double the kind of intellect, double the kind of skills than what you had 14 months prior. 14 months is 1 year, 2 months. Can you imagine that? You have to upgrade. If you're getting stuck at a certain level and you say, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, you're not going to be getting to those lofty ambitions you set. You set early up in your career. So you have to be able to whether you're going to do it through new courses you do. I mentioned some of these online courses. I personally have done some of them. People like I counsel, I tell them get on to, especially during this lockdown and the coming lockdowns, we have a lot of time sitting at home. So being able to upgrade. So if you have a job and you think, okay, this is what I need to know to get to that job, then learn that skill, get that certification, go out and upskill, upskill. That's very important. Do not get stuck at one level. If you get stuck at one level, you're finished. Okay. My third point is grab every opportunity to learn something new. How do you do that? 3 very simple words: read, watch, listen. Read the right stuff, watch the right stuff, listen to the right stuff. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? I know parents have problems with kids spending a lot of time on their cell phones. Earlier it was on TV, but you got to be reading the right things on your cell phones. There's a lot of information out there. If you have a particular career, let's say you're getting into the finance career, what are you watching? Are you watching CNBC? Are you watching ET Now? Are you reading the Economic Times? Are you reading the Times of India? Are you reading the Financial Express? You have to be able to read, watch, and listen to the right things, right? Because that is what is going to help you in your career. When you go out for jobs, which is what I will come to in interviews, people are not only looking at your marks, whether you've got a 90% or an 85% or a 45%. They're going to look at what product you are, how much you know. Okay. Unfortunately, like I said, our education system doesn't teach us a lot when we are in college. However, there's nothing stopping you from learning yourself. Read, watch, and listen. Read. If you have to get into the IT field, like I said, you're going to be doubling. You're going to need to double your skills every 14 months. So you have to read, you have to watch, you have to listen. You have to go out and upgrade every single day of your life. Never miss an opportunity to learn something new. Okay, grab every opportunity to learn something new. And there are opportunities coming out every single day, anywhere you look. You have to be attentive enough to be able to grab those opportunities and learn something new. I like to start my day, and I always tell the people I work with, my colleagues at work, as well as my students. I get up every day in the morning telling myself, I don't know anything. I need to learn something today. And I go to sleep just going through the day and trying to know what I learned today. Okay, learn something new on a daily basis. If you're able to do that, you will go back to sleep and get up the next morning saying, okay, I learned something yesterday, now let's get something new today, right? If you're able to have that attitude, you will definitely be able to upgrade on a daily basis. And how you can do that, I learn from my own staff. On a daily basis, I learn something from them, they learn something from me. Like Robin said, he learns something from me every time he calls me, but I have learned such a lot from him also. Okay, because I'm always looking for opportunities to learn something new. That is very, very important, because that is how you're going to upgrade and upskill also. So if you have a friend who's already, let's say you want an IT guy, right? You want to get to work in Infosys, and your friends work in Infosys. Try to connect to them, talk to them, see what they do on a daily basis. What are they reading? What codes are they coding? What's happening new in the industry? Learn something new. Grab every opportunity to learn something new. The fourth point is important. I hope everybody relates to it. You understand what is a comfort zone. You've gotten your career, you've defined it well, you got your job you wanted, and now you've got into a comfort zone. Okay, but like I said, technology will double every 18 to 14 months now going forward. Not only technology, but everything else. All right, the finance world has developed so much. Marketing has moved from traditional marketing to digital marketing today. You have to get out from that job that you have, that comfort zone, and go out and look to do something different, to do something new. Employers are looking for somebody who stands out. Okay, somebody who's different from the rest of the crowd. I tell my students sometimes, if the crowd is going on the right side, don't go with the crowd. Go on the left side. Go check out what's on the left side, because there could be something new there, right? So get out of your comfort zone. Take the risks. You will automatically start getting into, when you enrich yourself with information, when you enrich yourself with skills, you are more confident out there in the job market. You are more confident out there when you're doing an interview. You are more confident when you're applying for jobs, right? Which is what we're coming to in the next slide. But of course, before we go to the next slide, one more poll. So let me get into the poll. Right, so we're going to talk next about jobs, okay? And how do you go about applying for jobs? So this poll is around that. Right, can everybody see it? Please vote. So how do you or would you search for a job? Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
You can take multiple, this is a multiple choice answer, okay? Do you apply on a company website? Do you approach your LinkedIn connections or whatever your social connections are, social media connections are? Do you visit a recruitment consultant? Do you ask friends and family? Referrals, basically referencing. Like LinkedIn, you tap your Facebook and Instagram connections. How do you go about? Or do you pray? The last one is actually pray very hard. I don't know if you can all see that. Yeah, but the last one is pray hard. Do you just sit and pray hard? Okay, another 10 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll and I will share the results with you. There's no right or wrong answer, and this was multiple choice, okay? So 82% of you says you can apply on a company website, which could be correct, because if a company employing through their website, is got their jobs out on their website, you got to apply there. In today's day and age, LinkedIn is the most important way of networking and connecting. I will come to that. I'll talk about that in my next slide. Visit the recruitment consultant, yeah, because they are the ones who have the pulse of the market, where the jobs are, which jobs. It depends on what kind of job you're in also. Yeah, family friend referrals are very important. Referencing is very important. I'm going to be talking about that. And again, because it's Facebook and Instagram, you tap your connections on there. I think you should pray hard after you've done all of that. Okay, don't sit and pray hard if you haven't done any of those others. Yeah, if you've applied on the right website, you've tapped your connections, you've done your job. Like God said, you do your job and leave the rest to me. Right. So pray hard after you've done all of that. Don't only pray hard. Or at least you can, but that's the way I think. All right. Let me come back to my presentation. Yeah, thanks for being interactive. I hope you guys are enjoying the polling. There's a couple more coming after that. Okay, I'm going to open the floor to a couple of questions after this slide, because I don't want to be just monotonous. All right, so we spoke about choosing your career, boosting your career. How do you upgrade? It's very important to learn something new on a daily basis. Now, how do you go about finding your dream job? Okay, I have a question. I'm going to answer that a little later. Let me just finish this slide. All right. How do you go about finding your dream job? That's what the poll was asking you. Networking is very, very, very important. When you network, what you're doing is you are talking to somebody who can get you to somebody else, right? Today, LinkedIn is that platform. You are connecting to somebody who knows somebody else. You may not know that person directly. It's a very good way of connecting. Same thing with Facebook, and not so much Instagram, but also Instagram if you're active on that. But of course, you have to be able to connect to the right people. I know LinkedIn today has got company accounts, right, or company pages that you can like and follow, and they will put out a job posting there. You can apply to that. So that's one way of applying directly. LinkedIn also has a lot of alumni. So if you're from a particular college, I hope you understand what is alumni. Alumni of a college or a university, or even former colleagues who form a page and put it out there. So alumni of, let's say, the 2014 batch of St. Xavier's College, right? You have that. You are from the 2021 batch or from the 2020 batch. You have to be able to connect. You should be able to connect to those alumni who are already out there in industry and who have a job. So you know what they are doing. When I came out in as a graduate in the year 2002, we didn't have all of this. Okay, we didn't even have a cell phone. We had to sit on a landline phone or go out walking the streets and looking for people. Okay, today you have it on your cell phone. So use that power of technology to be able to connect to your alumni you've never met, you never heard of. They're all there from 20 years ago and 30 years ago. They're all there on the socials. Family, friends, and colleagues are very important, because they know people you don't know. It's like one person will know 10 other people. You get connected to 10. So you need to connect to 10 people to be able to connect to 100 people. That's how you can connect. So networking is important. Go out and network. When I send students abroad, I tell them, you're a new person in a completely new country. Nobody knows you. Okay, you don't have uncles and aunties and grandparents and brothers and sisters over there. Neither you'll have a lot of friends. You're completely fresh. So how do you network? You got to start with your professors. Start with your colleagues. Try to stand out. Impress a professor with a good project or a good grade in your exam. Go out and the place you live in, okay, your accommodation, if you rent an accommodation, the owner of the house, he will know 10 people. That's how you network, right? So you can there's no end to networking. You can always find somebody who knows somebody else, right? Referencing is very important. I'll tell you what I mean by referencing. if you have you're a fresher student, I'll talk about freshers and then working professionals. You have your professors who will give a good account of you, or what we call letters of recommendation, right? They will recommend you, and they will and give you a good reference when somebody calls you. When you apply for a job, they do a ref check or a reference check. You have to give somebody's name and number. If you're a fresher, you probably give your college director's name, your college principal's name, your school principal's name. You'll probably give some professor's name. You have to be able to get good referencing. Okay, get people to reference you properly, to recommend you properly, right? So even when you apply to universities abroad, they need letters of recommendation. You're a completely new person. They need to know that they are taking the right people. How do they get that? They get to know it from the people you already know, from the people you worked with, right? So that's referencing. So professors, colleagues, employers, these are very important. If you're a working professional, you have 2 or 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience. Your immediate boss, your super boss, those are your people who are going to reference you, okay? Because your future employees are going to call them and ask them, how was he? How was his work ethic? How did he work as in a team? Okay, is he hardworking? Or does he laze around? All those kind of things will come from previous referencing. That's very important. So networking, referencing. And the third thing is something that you may not even have heard about. Internships we all hear about, right? You do an internship, but volunteering. What is volunteering? I remember when I was 19 or 20, before I could even get into my B school, I walked into I had this thing of getting into this company, right? I'm not going to name that for confidentiality purposes. I walked into there and I said, I'm going to do your job for free. Will you let me do the job for free? Okay. And give me a chance to prove my mettle to you. All right. That is volunteering. So let's say you have this company, somebody there, they don't have a job. Okay, they don't have a job. It's pandemic time. They're not recruiting. They are, on the contrary, they're laying off, but they need to get work done, right? Go out and volunteer. We have this volunteering concept very little in India. Okay, but when you go overseas, it's very, very common. People are looking to get work done through volunteers, just to know that they can then recruit you. I know there are some companies out there who don't go and advertise for jobs, but they wait for volunteers to come in so that they will give a volunteering assignment to one person for 3 months, 4 months, and then they are able to assess that person. That's the best interview for an employer. Like if somebody comes to me and says, I want to work in your company for free, I'm happy, because if I'm going out and looking for somebody, I'd rather have somebody come and tell me I'll work for free, because that's the best interview. I worked with that person for 3 months. I've seen their abilities. I've seen their skills. And you're able to do that. I know it's uncommon here in India, but nothing's stopping you from doing that. Internships are what you get as part of your program in any case. But if your program, I know our degree programs don't allow us to do internships, except for a hospitality degree, or some of the engineering programs allow you. Law allows you, dentistry and medical allows you, but not otherwise. But go out and look for internships. Your parents are working in a company. Ask your parent to give you an internship, or your uncle works in a company that you think, let's say your uncle works at Barclays Bank, or he works at Yes Bank, or he works at Axis Bank, and you want to get into Axis Bank. Go and get an internship. There are companies out there who are giving internships. So they are for a particular period, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months at the max. You go out there, get your exposure to the industry, and prove your mettle. So I said, give yourself an opportunity to prove your mettle. That's how you're going to be able to do that, right? So volunteering internships are very important, because when you do an internship, it may be paid, it may be unpaid. Okay, you're doing an internship for free. I know the YMCA is running, because I chair the social media committee. We've taken on 3 interns, and I'm already talking to the YMCA guys about taking them full time, because they're able to prove to us that they can do what we want them to do. Right? That is an internship. Don't go expecting to get paid a lot of money for it, but just go there to prove to the industry to prove to that employer that you can do what they want you to do. And most importantly, you will be able to get to work in a corporate culture, right? Our degrees don't allow us to work in corporate culture, or they don't teach us how to work in a corporate culture. Unfortunately, some of our professors have never worked in industry. Yeah, they're just there because they couldn't get a job in industry. So they said, "Chalo, let's get into teaching." But internships and volunteering gets you exposed to industry. So you know working culture, you know what time they start work, you know what time they take their break, you know what conversations are being done at the coffee machine. You know what now it's all online, so you know what talks are happening in the WhatsApp groups, right? So you get that feel of a corporate. So by the time you graduate, you postgraduate and you come out, then you're more confident about giving an interview. You already know that you've done that. You may have done it for free, but when you go and face an interview, you are able to talk about working in an actual corporate environment, right? So volunteering internships are very important. So that's what you should do to prepare to land your dream job, right? So that's your job. You want to become associate vice president at let's say Standard Chartered. That's your dream job. You have to know how to get there, right? And I know I get a lot of things about students telling me, "Oh, but I'm a fresher. Who will take me?" There's no concept like that way, okay? Or everybody started as a fresher. Everybody in life started as a fresher. Nobody came as associate vice president of Standard Chartered Bank, right? So you have to go out there and start somewhere. There's no place where you cannot start, right? Okay, so time for another poll. Okay, let me get to the question, a couple of questions. Sir, if a student has a passion on a specific field and he cannot make in that field as his career, he doesn't have any specific interest in any other field or does not have any sort of dream job. So how can he select a specific field as his career? Okay, Dylan D'Souza, you are asking me that. I don't know if you're a student or a parent, because it says if a student. So this has to come through a lot of then trial and error, right? You get into something, if you don't know what you want to do, or your passion doesn't lead you into a dream job, or it is okay. You're a student, okay. It's not. I don't know what is your passion. If it's football and you can't become a football player, then you have to be able to define what is what is it that kicks you, what is it that excites you. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be what you do all the time. Like I had a student a couple of years ago. The only thing he could do in life was play video games, okay, on his phone. And you couldn't call him before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because all night he'll be playing video games and then get sleeping the whole morning. But you know what that career translated into? He became an app developer. Right, he learned how to develop video games. He learned how to develop develop apps. So that passion that was his, it would really irritate his parents. It turned into a career. Now you have to be able to then, if you're not able to find that career that is your passion, you have to then be able to get into trial and error. So start something, see if it works you, see if it excites you. If not, get into something else, see what that excites you. If you're good at it, that's how you have to be able to do that, right? Going to take one more question. If I'm an introvert, if I'm trying for professors or employees, it will be difficult. How can I network? Okay, social media gives you the best way of networking without having physical contact, right? You don't have to be an extrovert to get onto social media. You have to be able to get there onto social media. Okay, and this thing of being introvert, I don't really believe in that concept. I know counselors and psychologists talk about introverts and extroverts. I never understood it till today. People would tell me I'm an introvert when I was a kid growing up. And today people tell me I talk too much. But I never understood the word, the thing of introvert and extrovert. You have to be, if somebody has told you're an introvert, please tell that person to shut up, okay? If you're telling yourself you're an introvert, please tell yourself to shut up, okay? Because you cannot label yourself like that way. So how do you network? Just go out. I mean, why can't you approach a professor? Why can't you approach an employer? What is stopping you? Nothing is stopping you, okay? What is the worst he'll tell you? He'll tell you, get out. I don't have the time for you. You go to somebody else, right? He's not the only person in the world. That professor is not the only one in the whole world. Go to somebody else. And how can you network? Go network on social media. because you don't have to be connected to stay to somebody on social media, right? Okay, I'm going to go into my next poll because my next poll is about getting how to prepare for a job interview. And God, what am I sharing? Yeah, poll here. We're on poll number 4, correct? Yeah, poll number 4 is about your resume. So here you go. Please vote. This is for everybody, okay? Whether you're a student or whether you're a working professional, but even more important for working professionals. So what is the most important part of your resume? What do you think is the most important part of your resume? There's no right or wrong answer, okay? I'm going to be talking about how do you prepare a resume, what are employers looking for in your resume, etc. So is it your qualifications? Is education qualifications? Yeah, you can kind of put them together. Is it your photograph? Do you need a nice fancy photograph at the top, at the bottom? Is it your professional summary, which basically is what you've done from a professional standpoint? Your career objectives. I see a lot of resumes having an objective at the top of the resume. What is your career objective? What are your other interests, meaning your extracurriculars, right? What are your other interests? What else do you like to do apart from doing this job? And what professional certificates? Do you want to put out certificates there and talk about what you've done, like an upgrading certificate or something like that? Yeah, that's what you got to look at. Okay, just another 5 seconds. Okay, I'm going to end the polling and I'll share the results. Thank you for voting. Okay, professional summary, career objectives, those are the top 2, your qualifications, your professional certificates. Yeah, it's good. You said no photograph. Nobody said photograph because I don't like looking at photographs on a CV, frankly. Education has to be there. It's very important. And other interests. Yeah, you have to also look at other interests are important. So you have to know that when employers are also looking for soft skills, right? They just don't want to know whether you are able to do what you're able to do, but they're also looking at have you played team sports before? Have you worked in teams before? What all of that. Let me get back to my presentation. A couple more questions I'll address in a minute after I talk about this slide. So now we spoke about choosing your career, boosting your career, upgrading, learning new, finding your dream job. How do you go about finding your dream job? Now it's about actually applying for jobs and getting employed. Okay, so this slide is called Get Employed. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips, 2 or 3 tips about what employers like in a resume, how you should be making a resume to make it stand out, etc. Okay. Now, my first point, I'll explain to you what I mean by that. I say cater your resume to each job application. The word job is missing. Cater your resume to each job application. You know, in India, unfortunately, we have a one-size-fits-all kind of concept, and that's what we are taught in college, right? Make a resume that's very fancy and attractive and send it to everybody you know in your life. That's not the way you apply for jobs. Okay, if you're a commerce graduate and you're looking to get into, you don't know what you really want to get into, but you're probably trying to get into marketing, you're going to get into finance, you're trying to get into operations, you're trying to probably change your field and try to get a job as a coder because you learned coding, you did a course online. You cannot be having the same resume and apply to all of those jobs with the same resume. Okay, cater and alter each resume to each application. So if you're applying for a marketing job, you have to bring out your marketing qualities in your resume. Nobody wants to see some other qualities of yours when you're applying to a marketing job. They want to see your marketing qualities. So you can talk about projects you did, your marketing projects. You can talk about an extracurricular that you did. Maybe, now college has festivals and stuff, right? You went and you marketed your festival well. You have to talk about your marketing qualities. Uh, if you're putting a career objective, you say, okay, this is a crack level that I want to get to. This is my objective. This is my aim. You got to be able to talk about it. Today is the digital age of marketing. You have to be able to talk about digital marketing in your resume and what are your abilities with digital marketing. Okay. I mean, you don't have to go out and tell people how many friends you have on Facebook, but you have to be able to tell people that you know how to get your reach out on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever it is, right? So cater and alter each resume to each application. Work on each resumes differently. So if you're applying to 10 jobs, you should have 10 resumes. At the max 9 resumes or the minimum 9 resumes. You cannot have one resume for 10 jobs. That is a major mistake. Okay. Go about working on your profile because you have the you have to be able to cater the application. So when an employer looks at your resume, he's looking at exactly what he wants to know. Okay, he's not reading everything else and then just looking for your marketing abilities. If you're applying for a finance job, bring out your finance abilities. Bring out the fact that you scored very well in mathematics. Bring out the fact that you scored very well in your economic subjects, right? Or bring out the fact that you did an internship in finance. So that is what you want to be doing. You don't want to be putting an internship in finance and highlighting that big thing in a marketing resume. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. So cater each resume to each application and make the employer's job easy. Okay. Because then the employers will know, okay, this person actually worked on his resume and it's easy for him to then call you and call you for an interview. The second point is preparing a good resume. Okay. Now I read 10 resumes a day. All right. And of students trying to go abroad. There are some resumes that are really good resumes, 1 page, at the max 2 pages. There are some resumes that are 10 pages long. You know what I do? I don't read the 10-page resume. I don't read the 8-page resume. I call the student and I tell them, please make your resume 2 pages so that I can read it. I don't have the time to read a 10-page resume, right? Your resume, you have to understand one thing. There's a human being at the other end of the the person you send it is a human being. You've not sent it to a machine, okay, or an animal who just will eat up the 10 pages. You want to put the best part of your life, of your career, of your academics, of your professional career into a maximum of 2 pages. You may be 45 years old and you've got 10 jobs before. You want to put all of that inside 2 pages. Do not put if you have 10 jobs, you put it over 10 pages. Nobody wants to read that. Okay. I see a lot of resumes, especially, and I'm talking to this about working professionals. Yeah. You will put everything that you did over 1 full page, all your job responsibilities. I really wonder, did you have so many job responsibilities? If you were coding, you were coding. You were not doing any other damn thing, right? If you were working in finance, you were working in finance. You have to know what, you have to tell me, okay, I did investment banking. This is what I stood out on. And that's it. I don't want to know, oh, you opened an Excel sheet in the morning and you closed the Excel sheet in the evening. Because I've seen people put that on their resumes. We don't need to know that, right? You have to put a good resume is at the max 2 pages. You know, I've read a lot of resumes of Ivy Leagues, of IITians. And stuff. These guys, they are IITians, 35-year-olds. They've started a company on their own. They've worked with the top brands before starting their own company. And you know, their resume is 3/4 of a page, an A4 size page. At the max, and I say 3/4 because below will be 1 or 2 references. So they put everything in that in 1 page. Can you imagine that weight of that 1 page is far more heavier than 10 pages because nobody's taking weighing your resumes in grams and kilograms. Okay, they're gonna see what comes to their in front of their eyes at the first instance. So a good resume is at the max 2 pages. Do not put everything that you do on a daily basis in your resume, in your job responsibilities, etc. You can summarize all that in 3 lines or 2 lines, because employers, let's say you are applying to Capgemini, okay, and you worked with Accenture before. The guy in Capgemini knows exactly what you did in Accenture. You don't have to tell him. Okay, so if you write 10 lines on what you did in Accenture, he's going to think you're a fool, because he will think that he's lying in your resume. So don't do that, right? Put just 2 things that the guy in Capgemini knows what I did at Accenture. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you worked in a bank and you're trying to get into another bank, put that, because the guy in the new bank we're applying to knows exactly what is the job profile that you did in your previous bank. What you highlight is what makes you stand out. That's my third point. Your resume has to make you stand out. So let's say you worked in Axis Bank and you're trying to get into HDFC Bank. You say at Axis Bank, I was Mumbai's #1 employee for the month of March 2021 or March 2020. I won the annual award for most amount of sales that I did for my company. If you got a promotion, you went from being a counter staff to a branch manager in 4 years. That's what makes you stand out. Highlight that. Okay, don't put all your responsibility that you did as a counter staff and all your responsibility as a branch manager. Just write in 3 lines. You went from counter staff to branch manager in a span of 3 months, in a span of 3 years or 4 years, and that's what makes you stand out. Put something that makes you stand out. Nobody's interested in reading what you do on a daily basis, right? In your resume, it's very, 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 very important. And then prepare. Once you have you've sent your resume, you've catered the resume well, you've structured it properly, people have read it, they are impressed, they call you for an interview. Prepare for your interview. Okay, do research. If your consultant has called you, ask them who's going to be interviewing me. If they have the name, very good. If they don't have the name, they at least have the designation. Go out and research who's that person. Go out on LinkedIn, try to get a little information. Do your research about the company you apply to. I know you will apply to 10 different places, but do your research on each different company. I hope I'm not running out of time. Oh, okay. Do your research on each individual company that you apply to. So if you're going there, when you go out and talk, you have to be able to talk. Okay, you have to be able to tell them, look, I know your company. I know this is what you do. This is your structure. This is where I'm going to fit in. And this is the reason why I'm the person you want. Okay. When I interview people, the first thing I ask them is, or not the first, actually the last thing, I will interview them, they'll talk and this and that. And then I ask them, now you tell me why I should hire you. Do you have a reason why I should hire you? If you have that answer, and the answer is good, the employer likes that answer, he's going to hire you. Okay, because you know why you should be there. You know why you deserve that job. You know why you deserve that job over somebody else. There are 10 different people who have applied for the same job. But if you're able to answer that, you tell me why I should hire you, then you give a summary of all of that, the reasons why he should hire you. Okay. The other point I want to make on this point is, a lot of you may not get into a top IIM or a top IIT or a top B school or whatever it is. Okay, for whatever reasons. I never got into a top B school because all I did was play basketball 8 hours a day and I never studied. However, that never stopped me from going and getting a good job in the corporate world. Okay, you have to be able to, the employees are looking for soft skills, they are looking for drive and determination, they are looking for abilities that you may not have learned in school or you may not have learned in college, but they are looking for other things. They are looking for abilities to work in a team. Do you fit into their culture? Do you fit into their structure? Yeah, when you go and applied for a job at, let's say, Standard Chartered Bank, or mine was American Express, my first job. You got to be able to know what is the culture there, what is the structure there. If you can now, at that time we didn't have social media, but now you have social media. You can do enough research on what job you're applying for. What do they need? How do I convince the employer that I'm the person for you? and nobody else's, right? Do your research, then go for an interview. Don't go for an interview without being prepared, because you will get rogered in the interview, right? So cater your resume to whatever application you're doing. Prepare a good resume, maximum 2 pages. Highlight what makes you stand out, because that's what people are looking for. And prepare well. Do your research before going into interviews, right? Okay, I'll just answer a couple of questions before I go into the next slide, because I'm ending on the next slide. Dylan, I answered you. So I'm a parent of a 9-year-old child. My child interests athletics, games, and guide him as a coach how to develop him. Oh, your child is still young, so develop him. Yeah, I mean, now you're developing at the age of 9. You're developing soft skills. You're developing skills of being able to communicate with people, work with people, and stuff. So guide him as a coach if you're his coach. I mean, I don't understand your question. Are you his coach, or you're looking to at other coaches to guide him? Whichever way, you are a very important person as a parent. You're a very important person for that 9-year-old. Yeah, let him follow his passions, but also expose him to the real world, right? Athletics is there. It's a career. It's a good career. You have to be able to identify to get into different areas of athletics. It's very important. Then if see, athletics also has a certain career end, so you have to be able to tell your student or tell your child, this is what these are the career paths after that. You can get into sports management, whatever it is. Yeah, there are various things. So 9-year-old is still young. I was a working professional and now looking for other options. At 25, it is too late to start a new career. We are rich from society all around the time. It is hard to compete that way, and many do get motivated. How do we keep our focus? If you see my first slide, Aaron Sampson, you're 25 looking to start a new career. It's not late to start a new career. Definitely not. As long as you've developed the skills, if you want to get into a new career, we can talk privately. I'll give you my coordinates separately. You can talk to me if you want to get counsel a little bit. Yeah, definitely not late to start a new career. I know you get pressure from society, but you can block all of that out. You don't have to listen to everybody who tells you everything, right? If you remember my first slide, I said you are the best person to decide your career, not society. Okay, your parents can play a small role in that, but you are the best person. So go out there and do what you want. Do what excites you. Do what kicks you. Yeah, what you get a kick out of. But definitely not too late to start a new career. It demotivates you, so stop listening to those people who do demotivate you. Like I said, if your professor didn't give you a reference, he's not the only person in the world, right? There are 10 other people who will give you a reference. So go out and look for motivated people who will talk to you positively. Just block out those ones who demotivate you. My child is in the 10th. Hello, I'm a parent. My child is in the 10th. She's very hardworking student. I do not know which field she should choose if she's in the 10th. Hardworking and studious, you need to be hardworking and studious in every field, but we can talk about that. I cannot generally tell you. I'll have to, when I look at and advise students, like I said, understand her passions, understand what she wants to do, make her read, make her think, make her listen, make her watch the right stuff. Yeah. So that's she will automatically know what she wants to do in life. Yeah. Hi, do you do immigration and PR for only student visa? Yeah, we do all of it. You'll have to connect to us separately, but we are mainly student visa consultants, not. So I have an interest in the IT field, which is the best degree to graduate in BSc IT, BSc CS or BTech. Okay, that's a specific question. You'll have to look. Of course, a BTech degree is the better degree compared to a BSc IT or BSc CS, but you got to look at your abilities and what you want to do from a career perspective. Yeah, that's very important. Okay, I'm gonna go to my last slide, and then I'll hand it over to Robin. Okay, yeah, but before I go to I think my poll can come next. We do have one more poll just to excite you at the end. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit of what I am. Robin introduced me. So I run a consultancy called Study and Work Abroad. I don't do, I mean, this is a different kind of talk for me, but when you come to me, we talk about if you want to have aspirations of going abroad, like Robin said at the start, we counsel students to go to the US, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, all countries in Europe, and some others depending on what are your budgets and stuff, right? I'll put my coordinates at the end. But now I want to talk a little about the student branch because I always tell I am who I am because of the YMCA. But before I get into that, I'm gonna give you another poll. Okay. I just want to get to know you a little more with this poll, so please let us know. Okay, Robin, were you able to see my last slide? Because I think I was still sharing this screen.
Now stop. You can do a poll. You can go on now.
All right. Were you able to see the Get Employed screen?
No, not that.
Okay. This is the screen I spoke about in Get Employed, right? I think I didn't stop sharing the screen. There is scores. So I spoke about catering your resume to each application, preparing a good resume, 1 or 2 pages, makes what you show what you stand out. Do your research when you prepare for an interview. Yeah. This is what we do. We are into study abroad. If you want to go abroad, you're looking to study. Now, students usually go to study because they're looking to migrate and settle abroad. You can come to us. We can help you go overseas. But of course, I don't just do your application. I will counsel you. Okay, I will sit with you over an hour or 2 and understand from you. And that's just the start of the process. Yeah, we counsel students. I talk to students. I love to talk to students in my free time. Not necessarily the parents, but the students, because they are the best judge for their careers. That's what I believe. Okay, and here you go with the Bombay YMCA. So before we get into that slide, I'm going to run the last poll. And then Robin, you have to take over the YMCA slide. Okay, this is the last poll. I just want to know a little bit about yourself. So what is your immediate career plan? Are you looking for further study abroad? Are you looking to study in India? Meaning you're already a student and you're still looking to study in India. Are you looking to continue or start working? Okay, I'm going to end this quickly. Right, okay, I'll end the polling. I don't need to share this here, but some of you are looking to study abroad, you can get in touch with us. You can get in touch with Robin. He will get you in touch with me. If you want to talk more about it, take an appointment with Robin, and he will connect you to me, or you can take an appointment with me directly, and we can talk about it. Okay, I'm happy to talk to you. If this webinar in any way helped you, nobody is happier than me, and the Bombay YMCA and the general and the CEO and the president and everybody, right? We like Robin said at the start, the Bombay YMCA is into youth development, and this is one part of youth development. So we would love to help you. Okay, thank you for that. I mean, that's the end of my presentation. We will do a Q&A where you can talk to me by unmuting yourselves rather than the chat. But there's this last slide, and over to you, Robin, on this slide.
Thank you, Alvido. This is just a start of one small unit of the Bombay YMCA, which is student branch. It's actually house for the students who are coming from the various parts of India to study in Mumbai. It's located, you can see the building is heritage structure. It is also, we had won an award, UNESCO award for this structure. It's very beautifully maintained inside and outside. Especially, I would say the heritage feel you will get to stay here is too good. More importantly, the kind of sharing we have with the people coming from different parts of India. These are the units what we have. These are the facilities what we offer to our residents here. So you can share it with your friends, whoever is traveling to Mumbai, and even for the internships, we will be happy to accommodate. We are also running working men's hostel also at the different facility. But this is only the gist of the small thing about the Bombay YMCA. As I told you earlier, 146 years, we had not only helping people with accommodation, but majorly we are helping people who are in need in the various areas. We are running shelters for women and children who are destitute, who are thrown away from the home. We are taking care of 50 plus orphan children in our shelter for more than 5 decades now. And of course, our vocational training centers are helping the economically poor people in the different trades like computers, beauty culture, garment manufacturing, and even the courses like government recognized courses, especially even the typing, which is going to be a very useful thing going to be a very attractive thing in your resumes. So those are the things which we are offering in Andheri and in Bombay Central. Of course, we are also helping majorly our through our Balwadis and night study centers. We reach out to more than 600 students in all over Mumbai. And we are happy that, we even have recently we have a meritorious program where we are able to honor more than 40 students who were, came out meritorious from the municipal schools. We are associated with the multiple things, and to save if you want to be in touch with us, as Mr. Alvito has rightly said, volunteering is also a very important thing. So join us, volunteer as a volunteer or even as a career orientations. Join us. The coordinates are in the chat, so please copy and keep for yourself. We will also send you the coordinates to you over a period of time, and we will keep in touch with you for thing. Importantly, we have Mr. Paul George, our CEO and General Secretary, in midst of us. Paul sir, may I request you to come in for a minute, please?
Thank you, Robin. I've been listening intently to what Alvito has been saying. And for me, Alvito is very special. It goes back to the late 90s when he was a young teenager, a keen basketball player. What he lacked in height, he made up by strategy, even in those days. He went on to become a very popular and an ace basketball coach. And he used to have teeming young students around him every day. And at some days, I was envious at this kind of popularity. He then went on to do his professional course, graduated, did his post-graduation, and today, as a very successful professional and entrepreneur, it gladdens the cockles of the hearts of the people in the YMCA that we had some role to play in shaping his life and career. Today, he serves as one of our younger members of the board. He heads two major committees, one at the Borivali Center, as well as the PR and social media. And I'm sure all of us who are listening intently to him would be taking home a lot of his advice and probably taking it forward by meeting and consulting with him. So Alvito, here's somebody who's seen you grow. Thank you very much for your return to the YMCA. And we look forward to many such seminars in future as well.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Paul. I go along, like Paul said, I go along back. I was 17 when I met Paul, and he was a father figure to me. He's always been till today. I learned I had a conversation with him last Friday, and I learned 10 new things, right? So, like I said at the end of my presentation, I am who I am because of the YMCA, and this guy is one of the biggest reasons why. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you separately. It doesn't necessarily have to be about study abroad. I know that's not, I'm getting some message in the chat. Please connect to me. Yeah, we are, yeah, you would have got duped and stuff. I saw one message in the chat, but yeah, we talk with you with a lot of integrity, because my biggest the thing that kicks me the most is when my students call me and say 5 years done now, and I'm like, oh, I got $100,000 job, I got $150,000 job. Just 2 months ago, one student called me and said, I got that, I became vice president at ASB. It's $210,000, right? And he got his residency. So that's what kicks me the most. I want to see you guys become successful, right? So that's what it is. Connect to Robin with regard to the YMCA. He has put his credentials and coordinates in the chat box. I'm going to put my coordinates in the chat box. But Robin, I think you have a video to share before we get into Q&A. I think we have 5 minutes for Q&A, so we can do that. Thank you, Paul, for that.
No,
Okay. Before I share the video, we just want to inform, Christina and Hanuman Barse, we are coming up with a very beautiful program for counseling program for the younger kids soon. And please be in touch with us on our different handles. We will be posting it there. You can call us also. We will be happy to put you in touch with them. Okay, this will be especially for the children below from the age of 8 to 12. So, and also for the parents. So be in touch with us for that. Meantime, I will also like to run through our program, which is often, but do go to our YouTube channel and view for more videos and our information about the Bombay Wines. This is for you.
Okay, that's a beautiful video, but I think your sound went off in between. I don't know if it was only me or was it everybody else. Yeah, but YMCA has got his branches all over the city. Please, if you're not already associated, please get in touch with one of the branches. And Robin, if you're if you're even looking to stay in the hostels, one of the hostels, or use one of the facilities, they also run a lot of vocational training programs, which I identify with very well, because that's what makes people employable. And the YMCA has been so instrumental in employing thousands of people over the last few years that I've seen them do it. So to get in touch with the YMCA. for that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I just have my last slide to share with you, but yeah, we'll go into the Q&A. I think we have a couple of minutes for that. If somebody wants to ask, these are my coordinates. You can screenshot them. I'll try to put them in the chat box for you, right? But I think we'll get into the Q&A for now. So if there's anybody who wants to ask me something, you can unmute yourself, or you can just put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask me. I have a saying at the end. Let me see if anybody knows who said this for the first time. Can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Yes. So you said somebody said this. Nobody knows the future, so let's create the future ourselves. I live by this word. I have been for the last few years since I discovered the saying. Unfortunately, when we were students, we were not. We didn't have access to the media, to the digital age, and we couldn't just Google everything. And so we figured that all out now. The other day I was having a conversation with Robin when he asked me to do this presentation, and I asked him, why do you want to do it? And he said, pandemic time, people are worried. Do you have stuff that you can talk to students about? And I told him this one story. I graduated in the year 2002. Do you know what happened in 2001? For the parents who are on the call, 9/11 happened. Okay, 9/11 happened when they took down the World Trade Centers in New York. And if you know what happened to the world economy, it just went down. There was unemployment all over the world, not only in America, but majorly in India. And I graduated in that year. Okay, but we were able to get through that time and then get employed just by following what I did, what I showed you here. So pandemic time, it's not going to be, when 9/11 happened, they said this is going to be there for the next 10 years. Unfortunately, it came back again in 2007 when the whole economic crisis happened. Whether they were related or not, it's irrespective. The point is, pandemic or not, this is a phase. This will pass. Okay. Fortunately, the economies are not doing as bad as they were during the pandemic or pre-pandemic. And I think there will be a lot faster recovery out of this because there is an end to it, right? There is a vaccination, it will end, and companies are going to get out there. So I see this as an opportunity. And I tell students, see this as an opportunity. This is a time to now get out and get connected to employers, okay? Because they will start employing now, okay? Go out and volunteer if they can't pay you for now. Like I said in the presentation, it's pandemic time. They can't afford to pay you. Go out and volunteer. You never know. They'll take you up when they need you, right? So don't worry, pandemic, this and that. Everybody's been through it. I have a couple of friends who are senior to me, 5-7 years older to me. They came out during the Asian crisis time, right? Then I have some friends who came out during the 2007-8 economic crisis time. So these things will come and go, right? Crisis will happen, economies will come down, they will go back up, jobs will be, people, there will be unemployment, there'll be employment again. But when economies recover and companies recover, they recover at a very, very fast pace. So you have to be in there to be able to take use of that, right? So don't get bogged down by conditions and all of that. You see every downstream as an opportunity to go upstream. Very, very important. Okay, I will end here. I'm almost out of breath talking, but we can do a couple of questions before we end. Robin?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. Did I miss any questions in the chat? If I've missed something in the chat, please post it again, or you can just connect. Yeah, thanks for the appreciation. I think that was Benny. Okay, do we have any questions? Or should we get it to an end? Because we just crossed the 1.5 hour mark. Our target was 1 hour, but it usually goes longer than normal. Yeah, but I think, Robin, I think we can end.
Yeah, okay. Just before Ed, I would like to propose the vote of thanks, Lito. A special thanks to Bombay YMCA and the board, General Secretary, President Mr. Jason Samuel, General Secretary Mr. Paul George, and all the board members. There are a few of them had joined here also. Also like to thank Mr. Michael Raj for permitting us to do this program. Thank you all, and special thanks to all the participants. We will be in touch with you. We will give you more information about the Bombay YMCA, and also we would like to get involved with us in the various fields. The Bombay YMCA is one of the best organization to get involved with, and that's my experience so far. And I'm sure that going to be help everybody, everyone. We're going to benefit that way. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Alvito, for taking out time, and it's good. I'm sure you have given a lot of inputs to us, and you have done a lot of background study for that. Thank you all. Thank you for you, Alvito, for doing the same thing. Thank you, my colleagues. Special thanks to Samson and Mabel for putting things together. And all my colleagues of the Bombay YMCA for making this program good and successful. Thank you one and all, and we'll be in touch. Feel free to call us for anything or any reason. We will, wherever best we can help you, we will be able to do that for you. Our coordinates there in the chat box. Either you screenshot them or copy them with you, or even connect to any of the Bombay YMCA handles. We will be able to reach out to you with the best. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the privilege of doing this. I'm really happy to have done this. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jason, President, and thank you, Michael. Michael called me before to say all the best. Thank you, Michael, for concepting, being the conceptual mind behind this webinar. I was very happy to do it. I think we have a couple of questions here, but do we have a couple of minutes to answer them?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Yes, please do.
Oh, thank you for the blessings. I always love it when somebody says, God bless you. So I value that more than anything else in life, much more than money. Okay, how many years of experience should we get before applying for a major IT company? I think that's a wrong question, wrong way to look at it. A major IT company is not going to look at the number of years of experience. You got to know what you're going to apply to, what level of job you're applying to, and if you're good at it, they're going to hire you. Right, you have to be good at that level. You have to be good at that level. You have to be good for that job. You have to be able to convince them that you are the reason why they are. You are the person for that right job. I don't think it counts the number of experience. I don't think the years of experience counts unless you're applying for a senior level position. Because if you're able to garner that kind of abilities through in a shorter period, and you're able to do that job, then you're entitled to apply for that job. Yeah. So I think the way you're thinking of it is important. I like to tell people this also, and I'm going to end on this. I think I don't want to talk too much. You know, half the battle is won in the mind. You have to understand one thing: your attitude, and if you are applying for a job, if you want to get to a dream job or whatever you do in life, right? This pandemic issue. If your mind has told you, this is the end of it. This is the end of my life. Blah blah blah. It's the end of it, okay? Because your mind has lost that battle. I tell all of my students, I tell everybody, I'm telling even my colleagues that I work with, half the battle is won in your mind, okay? Your mind, if your mind wins the battle, you just got to go out and do what your mind is telling you, because the other half is academic. It's going to happen because your mind has already told you this is what is going to happen, right? Remember that half the battle is won in your mind. You win half the battle in your mind. The rest falls in place. It's academic. Right. Okay. Somebody wanted the coordinates. I just put them down again. Samson, if you can put the YMCA coordinates there again towards the end. If you want to look at this presentation or the webinar, I think the YMCA, Robin, you're going to put it out on your YouTube page and your social media.
Already there on the Facebook. So
it's already on Facebook. We will put it on YouTube, and please subscribe to the YMCA YouTube channel to access this webinar. Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you.
Thanks a lot, Alvito.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alvito.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Paul, sir, for this.
Thanks, Abhi. Great.